Or if you can't stay awake, you might as well leave now. You did not come to go to church. Everybody understands that. All right? You're going to get it on tonight. Give yourselves a hand. I'll take all of your questions right now. And I will, of course, get into the topics that I need to get into tonight. All right? Questions, let's have them in the room and online. Any questions at all? Take your time. It's all right. No rush. It's okay. Any questions online? Please.
It was from this is from Officer I.S.U.P.K from Kentucky, sir. Salakis, sir. Can I get a breakdown on Genesis chapter 1, verse 6 through 8, and some precepts for battling a flat earth nut?
Yeah, let's get into that. Go ahead and read the precept. That's something usually I wouldn't even answer a question about the earth being flat. I've been around too long for that. I don't have the kind of patience I used to have. That's what young men are for patience and kindness and mercy. Because I virtually lost all of mine. Everybody understands that. But of course, the earth is round, Akim, all right? The earth is round. This is something that, brothers and sisters knew in the Bible. I appreciate you. Brothers and sisters knew in the Bible years ago. I'll give you a few precepts on that if you need that, all right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters.
Let me give you a simpler one. This is solid, but let me just look up a circle of the earth. If you could, all right? The what? That should be enough for that. Then you can look through history and science and Copernicus and everything else to prove that the earth, of course, is indeed round as opposed to flat, all right? But I'll give you one precept on it, then I got to move on. Give me circle of the earth. I believe it's in Isaiah, all right? The water for the scotch, I can give him a hand. Water to General Kubalama, held it down, the water. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Doc. And also Officer who? The Wagabar, give him a hand. We good to go here? Circle of the earth. Read it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth.
Upon the what?
Circle of the earth.
Upon the what?
Circle of the earth.
So who has time for all that garbage out? You're pouring in the ghetto. And you're debating. Imagine someone is debating the UPK about the earth being flat while you were molested as a child. You grew up in the projects and in foster care. And what? And now you finally see men that are willing to risk their lives to save yours. And what do you want to battle about the earth being flat? All right. Whatever. The earth is whatever the hell you want it to be. Now, what about that molestation that you've been through? What about the poverty you've been through? What about the homelessness that you've been through and you are going to go through in the future? You might want to make that a topic, Doc, or at least something of importance in your life one day, all right? For now on, the earth is whatever the hell I say it is. The earth is a cube. The earth is a goddamn cube from now on. Everybody understands? Now let's deal with the homelessness problem, right? Let's get our children in better schools. Let's do that now that we know that the earth is a perpendicular square. Anything else? Good. Any questions? I'll answer that, or else I'll get into my topic. I'm going straight into the IUIC, that nonsense in there. All about that purple choir. All about the great offense that they commit all the time, and especially now. And the MDA that you have to sign to become a member, and what that means and where it all comes from. I'll do that if you have no questions. Anything else? Give Abadie a hand. He's rough on the church.
He was laying down a heavy assault on TikTok.
He was.
Got all them mad, they flagging the videos on TikTok, shut down the page.
Officer Abadie, give him a hand. Oh, that's General Mahayaman. I can hear from headquarters. Give him a hand, General Mahayaman. Most High in Christ. Where we at? You got a question? Go ahead.
I want to break down in Ecclesiastes 38, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 25. I start 24, sir. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure,
Mm-hmm.
and he that hath little business shall become wise.
Mm-hmm.
How
You
can
want this broken down or not?
from
From here or further down?
it was more on the parts afterwards on 25.
Okay, go ahead.
How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the goad, that driveth oxen, and is occupied in their labors, and whose talks is of bullocks?
From the top?
If I could, sir.
From the top.
Okay.
Read it again.
Cookout. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure.
If you could understand this precept, right, then you could understand exactly why our oppressor put so many burdens on the children of Israel. Now you know why Mexico is the way it is, and Guatemala and Haiti, and Argentina and Brazil and America are the way they are. We're so poor so that we can constantly spend every day struggling and striving to survive. Because if you are struggling to eat and struggling to live, then you will never be able to gain wisdom, because you won't have the time to explore. You won't have the time to read. You won't have the time to research, because you will constantly be working day and night. It's oppression. It's the purpose of it. It's why nothing can change. People try to change things. There are groups right here in Las Vegas, certain Edomites, man, devils, that oppressors that try to help the poor people out here in Las Vegas. And time again, the government of this city will push and strike everything down that they do, because they don't want people to have an easier way to live. They want you constantly scraping every day. Why? Because it distracts you from what would elevate you, from what would make you better. And that's wisdom. Now keep reading.
And he that have little business shall become wise.
If you don't have a lot of work, then what could you do? Research, study, travel, explore. You could read. There was a time when so few poor people read, and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was not that long ago when so few poor people ever read a book, because what use did they have with reading a goddamn book? How could it help them when they're out in the field all day cutting sugarcane? It held no purpose in their life, reading or researching anything. Keep going.
For 25. How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow?
You know what a plow is, right? A plow is what you do out in the field, and you plow a field so that you can dig up the dirt, so you can plant in that dug up dirt. Well, how are you going to get wisdom when you're plowing all day in the field? When are you going to read? When are you going to explore anything besides base level understanding of eating and sleeping and getting up to do it again? Keep going.
And that glorieth in the gold.
And the gold, the gold, I believe, is a farming tool. You can look it up to research it. I believe it's a farming tool. Look it up real quickly if you don't mind. You good to go, Mayak? You want something? You want to say something? When you have it, let me know, right?
Okay, gold, a spiked stick used for driving cattle.
His glory is in the goad, or like that's where the term goading them. What do they call that today? A cattle prod. To stick the cattle and make them go where you want them to go. Read that last part again.
And that glorieth in the gold.
But he's glorying in how his stick works and how his stick makes these cattle move down a path or move into a barn. That's his life. And that's your life and your father's life and your mother's life. Dishes, hot water, washing cars. Come on.
If I may, sir, would that be similar to brothers getting a 50-cent raise, dollar raise, a promotion?
Let me tell you something. There's only one way that you could be happy about getting a 50-cent raise, and that's if your paycheck is very, very small. Now, to understand Edomites, to understand oppressors, you got to think from his perspective, which is one of the things I do for Commanding General YAHANNA. The only way that this man could be happy with 50 cents is if you pay him next to nothing. if you gave him more money, then you have to give him bigger raises. You understand? That hurts the company. The cheaper he is, the more enthusiastic he'll be about a grain of rice, about something that's pitiless. He'll just be so happy about it. Oh my God, forget about a day off. A day off is like, you're getting a Thanksgiving off. Oh my God, it is the best thing in the world. It is an amazing thing that you get a day off. Well, there's only one way that you could love a day off, and that's if they work you to death every other day. And that is how our oppressor thinks. Because if you had any time, if you weren't constantly scraping and striving and the things that people have to do to survive, listen, I know your mind is on Jay-Z and Kyrie Irving and LeBron James and Kanye West and what's the little cat that got arrested today? The football player. Come on.
It's like that's on Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. I know your whole life is rappers and movie stars. Forget about Will Smith and Chris Rock. And Chris Rock got hit in the face. I know you don't know anybody that ever got hit in the face. You know how many people I've hit in the face? It was like a kind of occurrence. But him getting hit in the face is national news. It's a big thing. Your whole life is about rich people. That's your entire existence. Fantasizing about rich people. But here's something that you don't understand. You are much closer to the people living in the subway than you are to the people in the NBA. You understand? You're closer to them. Now, you might not live in the subway. You might live in the subway. Of course, not in here because Commanding General YAHANNA doesn't allow his men to live in subways. He doesn't allow that. And of course, people out in the world or people watching online, you might, live in a home. You might have a car. You might have, food on your table, and you might, have TV and internet to watch. You are far closer to someone living in a tent than you are to a rich person living in Beverly Hills. There is nothing you can do to get to where he is. Nothing. Oh my God, you could get sick and end up in a tent. You could break your leg. Think about sometimes this is good to do. What would have to happen to you in your life for you to end up homeless? And you think for a second about how easy it could be. Easy. Child support, lose your job. How would you lose your job? Damn near anything. Forget about getting hurt. Getting hurt, getting sick. And you're homeless. You're in a tent or living in your car, which somehow has become, the new home for everyone to just live in their car. And that became so normal. But meanwhile, your whole life is about rich people and what's happening to rich people and all of their struggles, all of the problems they have. When you are one step, one injury, one illness from living in your car. If I was you, I might, put my mind on that. Well, of course, your oppressor, he doesn't want you thinking about life and how you could make it better. He wants you thinking about how you can survive. So your life is plowing, farming, getting in the field and working, because if not, you'll starve to death. Keep going.
That driveth oxen and is occupied in their labors, and whose talks is of bullocks.
And when you go to talk, when it's time for you to have a conversation, what's your conversation? Bullocks, a bull. So when you go to talk, your talk is about work. You talk to everyone. Your whole conversation is about, we got to bring this many in today and get these piles in today, and do this order and fill this order. And I got to get in there and do that and do this. That's all you know about. You know about nothing else other than, I got to do this and file that and get that done by this day, and take this pile on this side of the room, put it on that side of the room, and then put it back on the other side tomorrow and get that clean and get that stripped and get that painted. That's your talk. That's all you can talk about because you don't know anything else. That's by design. That's done on purpose. Keep going.
He giveth.
See me one more time, please.
He giveth his mind to make furrows.
Read that one more time.
He giveth his mind to make furrows.
Furrows, I believe, is a little thing that animals get in. Look it up first, please.
I got it, sir.
Go ahead.
Furrow a long narrow trench made in the ground by a plow, especially by planting seeds or for irrigation.
So it's a a long pile, a long stretch, so you can plant seeds in there. All right, a row in essence. Read that one more time.
He giveth his mind to make furrows.
Your mind is on making those rows.
Is that the same one as that word? Can you spell that word again?
F-U-R-R-O-W-S.
So is that the same word where it says break up that fallows or that follow?
Follow. That sounds right, but I'd have to ask first.
If you just look up the
Please, you can look it up for the please. Follow ground, right? Follow, is that right? I believe it's follow. You can see if it's the same thing as Pharaoh, all right? Keep going.
And is diligent to give the kind fodder.
He is diligent to give the kind
like cow.
A cow. Fodder, which means feed him. He's diligent to feed the cow. That's what he's diligent in. Surviving, the work that you have to do every day to survive. Well, the more that you are solely focused on that, the more that you will never be free. And your people will never be free, and you'll never have wisdom. And without wisdom, can you imagine what life would be like? Let me tell you about it. Without wisdom, you know what you'll need to do eventually, because your life is so mundane and so desperate, and your life is so miserable, you know what you'll need after a minute? Drugs. You're going to have need drugs. When I say need, I mean need. You understand? You'll need them.
If I can comment, it's so heavy what you're bringing out, because being like this, being how the Lord wants you to be, the world will call us lazy.
Right.
Like trying to get off of work and not thinking about work and not loving work like they love it or like they act like they love it, we'd be looked at as lazy.
Right.
And so that messes with our mind. Now we fight to prove we're not lazy, meanwhile missing the connection with the Lord all the time. It's like,
What General Mayak is saying is so true. And that whole, even thinking like that, comes from the manipulation of rich people. Rich people will have you thinking all day, I need to give things more effort at my job and to work harder and to work harder. That is exactly what your supervisor would want. That's what he wants. That's what the owner of the company wants. For you to just give it all. Come in early, stay late, do whatever you have to do. Even if you don't get paid for it, it still shows diligence. And in your mind, it's like he'll see you and he'll see how diligent you are. And, he'll reward you until you do that a few times and you realize that you've been a sucker forever.
Right.
He wants you to constantly Please, Maya, go ahead.
please, I was in a bank the other day and this old sister,
You can come up if you want to, Maya.
okay, go ahead. This old sister and this old brother, right?
You took the ball up to you.
In the bank. And so they start talking about, black people sitting at home and collecting money.
Mm-hmm.
And they start talking with this security guard that was at the bank. It was an Edomite. So now I'm listening, and I said, I'm gonna stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? So the Edomite going into, because the complaint started, the black people want to know why you only got one worker with about 10 boobs here.
Right.
He said, everybody's sitting home collecting a check. This is the Edomite said. They sitting home collecting a check. We can't get nobody in here. Oh, and this old woman and this old brother started going into, they all sitting home getting that check. They still getting the check. Yeah, they still giving them the check. I work every day. They won't give me none of that money. And then they start going at these two and the Edomite. Finally, I had enough. I said, listen, America give other countries billions of dollars, man, every year. Other white countries are on welfare from America. Let black people get $100, $200. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? I said, white people are getting this and this. And so I went into about 2 minutes, stop. Old lady said, well, I'm talking about us. I said, okay. Well, let's not forget about them. And they start going at it again. I said, I'm going to leave
Whatever. Give it my hand. That's what happens. Like over time, you just become a slave. And that's all you are. All you care about is working. You're angry at other slaves if they aren't giving it their all. Anything else has to help?
That's it.
All right, so any other questions?
Somebody, sir.
Please.
Can you read this down on verse 33?
Please.
Verse 33. they shall not be sought for in public council.
Yeah, if I could. Someone who only cares about work, no one is going to ask for your opinion about serious matters. Because, all you know how to do is just to fix that car or wash those dishes. So who in the hell can come to you about something that's important? They can't, because this slavery, this hell, has turned you into just a servant. And that's it. And that's why it's such a struggle. Come on.
So basically, when they asking you to vote and your vote don't count because the electoral college really is the one that you, president, showed you that you slaves don't have any say as to what,
Which is wisdom, because of course, after you turn the entire civilization and every civilian into a slave, why would you ask him who should be president? He doesn't know about things like that. He knows about working. That's it. He doesn't know about high things. So now you'll go, if you get a chance, and you'll make Donald Trump president. Or you'll go get an African with a white mother and say, this is the first black president. You don't understand things to be able to choose something that's very important.
And listen, this is how subtle your enemy is. He knows he can't give you that kind of power, but he knows he can't tell you he's not giving you that kind of power because he knows your mind. You understand?
And so that's why the electoral college is just made for dummies, in that everybody gets to go out and vote and feel like, I matter, my vote matters. And then there's another body of rich, educated people that really makes the decision. And it's just so smart. It's so perfect, the system, because all of you feel like you matter. And then in the end, there's some white man looking and going, okay, solid, I'll pick this person. And that's who makes the president, the electoral college. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, just ask, and I'll explain the electoral college to you, all right?
Salaki, if I could, what General Mayak just said, he can't give you that power, but he knows he can't tell you that he's not giving you that power. Could you break that down a little bit, Bubba?
No, you want to go?
Don't matter to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, please. Say that one more time.
What General Mayak said regarding the way the oppressor thinks, because he knows our mind, he says he's not giving you that power, but he knows, because he knows how you think, that he can't tell you he's not giving you that power.
And then they're like the Matrix. You in the Matrix, you living in a fantasy world, you seeing these fantasy people, but you think it's the real world. And you have to think it's the real world, because if something shows you that this is a make-believe world, you'll be like the cat in the movie. You'll start wondering, well, damn, what's going on? This don't seem real. And you'll then figure it out. They'll find you and release you from the Matrix. You understand? You know what I'm saying? So you can't be released. If they tell you, if you figure out, hold up, I'm living a fantasy like we in the UPK. We live in this.
Right.
Because of the truth, we know, man, we in Disney World. This is a cartoon world we living in.
Right.
How could they believe that? How could they believe this? How can they fall for that? Because we in the truth, and the Lord is dealing with us. He's putting His Spirit on us. So we woke up in the Matrix. That's what they don't want. They don't want you to wake up while you're in the Matrix. Sorry.
Well, that was it. If I could just back up what General Mayak said about politics, 1 second. And to vote for the president, right, there are 2 votes taken that night. One is the popular vote, and the other is the electoral college vote. The popular vote is when everyone goes down and stands in line for 8 hours and votes for the president, right? That's the popular vote. The other vote is voted by these specific people who are like congressmen, senators, governors, and they're called the electoral college. And every state votes in certain people to be members of their electoral college. You can look it up online to see who are the electoral college members of Nevada. All right. Every state has a certain amount of people who make up their state's electoral college. All right. And they're colleagues, which is where that term comes from. They're together and they take a vote. Now, the presidency is decided by the electoral college vote, not by the popular vote. The popular vote is irrelevant when it comes to the president. That is not hyperbole. That is fact. It's how the system works. Right. The popular vote is a suggestion to the electoral college, meaning they'll look and they'll go, oh, the people like Donald Trump. Maybe we should vote for Donald Trump. But they do not have to vote for Donald Trump, right? They just look at the popular vote and they go, Okay, that's what the people want. Now I'll make my decision. It's a suggestion. It absolutely holds zero bearing on who the president is. This you can just look up. Come on.
So the populace, the way the populace vote is just more or less food for thought for the electoral college.
Exactly. Now, I'll go a little deeper into thinking how a snake thinks. The electoral college knows by the popular vote which politician can fool the people the best. You understand? So as he's making his decision, he'll go, oh, they really like this guy. You know, if he's elected, everyone will show up to work tomorrow on time. You understand? But he still doesn't have to do it, but it's part of what he can add to his decision-making process. He can factor in who has fooled you. Which one of these politicians has made you completely a sucker under his spell? Right. Now, he still can say, no, I'm not picking him. Right. Or he can say, yes, I'll pick him. It adds to his decision. And that's politics, presidential politics in America. Come on.
To top it off, the Democrats and the Republicans, they're the same. They'll just run the program that they want to be run in each category, whether it be red or blue. And you just go deeper into the goddamn hole.
Yeah, that's another thing. You can read. There's so many books written on that, on how the Democrats and the Republicans are the exact same thing on all of the big issues. Right. The difference is what people do they manipulate. That's it. But there is no difference when it comes to real policies. Like over in Russia with the Ukraine, Democrats and Republicans, they're on the same side of that. You understand? When it comes to something that matters, there will be no difference between Democrats and Republicans with something that matters. The difference is which group of people in America do you seduce better? And there's no other difference than that.
Hey, in the back. So can you break down, like you just said, the electoral college, they select the president, basically, right?
Okay.
Can you break down why then do people feel like it's so important to vote, to popular vote?
If you don't mind, I'll do that if it's all right. The reason that people think that it's so important to vote is because of preachers. That's it. There is no difference. There is nothing at all. I'm forgetting this. Noam Chomsky. What's his name? Noam Chomsky. He had an excellent book on this I read 10 years ago or something about this cat. There's one other guy. But Noam Chomsky, his book was excellent about this topic. And that, okay, let me say your question again, Silaki.
Okay, how people, you just explained, which is common knowledge for most people, that the electoral college selects a president. But it's still something in people that want to still go and vote for a president.
I got you. Throughout. The reason that people think that voting is important is because of preachers. Right. Preachers have taught blacks and Hispanics, brother. I mean, man, since when? Since the end of the Civil War, that voting was not just a responsibility as a citizen, but a religious duty, like something that you had to do for God. And if you didn't do it, it was like a smack in the face to everyone that died in the past so that blacks and Hispanics could vote. You, in essence, were insulting your ancestors if you did not vote. God wanted you to vote. It became to be a fetish, like something that had so much power in your life that it had to be done. Now, because of preachers talking about it constantly, which, like, if you think about it, that's the only real job of a church, and that's to motivate people for voting. That's the number one. You talk to Captain Kahan, brother, Captain Yashamar, Captain Yatazak, down in the South, brother. They'll tell you the churches in the South, their whole job is voting. That's the all year. All year is voting. It's just getting you ready for the midterm elections, for the presidential elections, for the city council, for the state elections. Just getting everybody all motivated so they can go out to vote and sing those stupid humming songs, and we shall overcome, and bring souls to the polls. That's the entire job of a Christian. And everything else done in church is really to support the voting process. It's just the songs and the music and all the reasons that you go are really so you can get sucked in and manipulated better so they can tell you, go out and vote. Because that's where preachers make their money out, voting. Preachers make their money on voting day. Everything else is just to get you to vote. Come on.
About this, sir, just to make a comment real quick, I was in Texas. I was Uber. They was asking about throwing myself from California. They said, "Don't bring your California votes down here with you."
Wow.
Wow.
That was a Mexican.
They don't want y'all coming down there. They don't want y'all getting rid of their guns down there. They like guns down there in Texas. They don't want y'all bringing that garbage down there. Exactly. And that's it. Now, can I explain to you why what preachers do works so well? The reason that what preachers constantly telling you to vote works so well with the people who, of course, are slaves and have nothing to hope for is because voting is the one thing in your life that you can have power in. Mm-hmm. And everything else in your life, you're powerless. Right. You have no power. But on this day, you'll stand out in line for 8 hours, and they have laws where you can't even pass out water in certain states, right? And guess what? That did not decrease the voting for black people at all. They passed those laws 2 years ago. That line is still as strong as it ever was because they're there for a religious reason. Why? Because when else in life do you get to choose anything or to have a say? When does anyone care about your opinion on anything? You're poor. Please.
So that explains the old school cliche line: if you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
Yeah, vote or die. I remember that. When was that? Back when I was in college. Go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
So people aren't. They know people aren't stupid, right? They know people aren't silly. There's this thing they call the Cantillon effect, or what have you. They know that the politicians have access to the money closer or sooner than you have it. They get the money 5 times before you get it the first time. So they know that if they support a particular candidate or what have you that's closer to what people who want to run the earth, the politicians is fucking puppets. Excuse my French.
I hear you. Go ahead.
Puppets. Right. And so they know where the money is going to come down first if they get on the right side of the issue. And so they just want to be on the right side. Right? They'll compromise their values and everything in order to do something to get out of hell. And then you see a Negro get rich, a preacher, because he's our hoe. You know, he'll do anything for it.
Right, absolutely. Anything else? We good here or not? Any other questions? Sisters, any questions you can ask now? It's all right. Don't be scared. I don't want to scare you to death. Go ahead.
So you mentioned the author who wrote the book. Do you remember the title? Is
Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky.
That's his name, but I can't remember it. It was a long time ago.
I think someone mentioned Russia.
Okay.
The Russians are not food or what have you. And what is the famous quote in UPK? If America didn't have Negroes and say we were in Russia, Russia would be great. Yeah, Russia would be great and powerful if they had niggas in slavery. Can I read the article title?
Please.
This is the title. Putin ally blames crisis on rise of black U.S. music stars he calls descendants of African-American slaves. The Russians blame us for their downfall and how society has fallen down and our influence. You understand? Like, these people hate us. The Jewish people, they hate us. You understand? They make us do it because they pay us money to do it. Yeah. And the Russians is going to sit there on the other side and say, you know what, you Negroes, because you know, are the cause of all of these evil, wicked things that go on in the earth. You understand? You're out front. We're going to just go ahead and say, you know, you're the cause of the downfall of society. The Russians.
It's great. Come on, Levi.
So like y'all don't want, if I may, what you're saying is so heavy. It seems to me, analyzing our influence that we have in the world and how the oppressor get us to push their agenda.
Right.
It seems to me that the world doesn't move towards a state of mind unless the children of Israel is in that state of mind.
What you're saying is absolutely true. We are the salt of the earth, which is what the scripture that General Kabbalah Mouth is referring to. We're the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, then how will it therefore be salted? Meaning, the thing that gives us our flavor, we won't be able to make this world a better place. But we're the salt of the earth. Our culture is the salt of the earth. What's our culture? The laws and the commandments in this Bible. If we don't have them, then even we won't be able to give this world the flavor it needs. What you're saying is correct. Anything else? Sister?
I was wondering about the seven seals and the beast.
No problem.
Revelation 6.
Revelation 6 and what verse? Is there a particular verse?
Well, I just would like
No,
to
sure.
just understand the overall understanding of the seven seals and the different beasts.
No problem. You have it?
So like, General, I just want to ask because you mentioned, the law, statutes, and commandments being our culture.
Yeah.
Could I say that that would equate to carnalismo?
Absolutely. What he's talking about is the brotherhood, correct? That's correct. That would give him a hand. That would absolutely apply to that. And that's our culture. Brotherhood or cardinalismo. Cardinalismo, brotherhood comes from the commandments. Without that, you can't be brothers. Without the commandments of the Most High God, there is no brotherhood. There is no family structure. There is no sisterhood. Why? Because we would all offend each other and then separate from one another.
Right.
Without brotherhood, why would you not sleep with his wife? She has a vagina. She's pretty. In some cases, she wants to do it. So why would you not sleep with her? Brotherhood, carnalismo. That's why you wouldn't do it. Right? Why would you not steal from him? Brotherhood is why you wouldn't steal from him. Why wouldn't you lie to him? In many cases, offending your brother is the thing that will benefit you. Do you understand? If you steal from him, you'll have his money. If you lie to him, it will help you and benefit you in some way. If you rob him and cheat him, it will help you. So why wouldn't you do it? Brotherhood, that's why you wouldn't do it. And brotherhood is in the Bible, and without it, we can't be a family man. Which is why what we have in the UPK is so much more important than any purple choir or any Christian church or any Muslim mosque. Because we love each other. And we love each other as a commandment, a rule, a law. Everyone understands. I pray you do. Because if not, you'll find out. You'll find out. All right, please.
1 Corinthians 10 and 24, let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth.
That's in the Bible, brother. We live by that in here. That's how this school is built. That's what Commanding General YAHANNA built it on. He built it on that. Everybody understands. Correct. Come on up.
I got a scripture too that goes into General Mayak's you saying.
Go ahead.
This is Romans 13 and 10. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. Verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
You want to break? Is there something in specific?
No,
just backing that up. Absolutely. Brotherhood is the fulfillment of the law, man. It's everything. It's what this school is built on. It's our blood. It's what we have that no one else has. And because we have it, we will be victorious over our enemies. Right. All you should do is just make sure you're not one of our enemies.
Right.
That's all you should do.
That's right.
You might hear our enemies talk that talk, but I.S.U.P.K don't love nobody. We all brothers and we all supposed to come together. You cannot come together unequally yoked. That's in the Bible. They don't know that. They don't know that that's in the Bible. Because no matter how much you talk about coming together and being together, and we should love everybody, they don't even love everybody.
Right.
They don't let that. That's why they come against us. I don't join no camp. See, and they can't get together. They don't even listen. How you gonna sit there with one group in the room that says it's fine to sleep with white women, and another group of people in the group, another group in the room that says it's okay, you can't sleep with white women. One group in the room says you can smoke weed and eat weed cookies and weed cakes, and another group in the room is against weed cakes and weed cookies. You understand? Right. You can't come together if you're not in one spirit. Right. And that is the brotherhood, being in one spirit. You know what I mean? That's what the Bible says. That's what the Lord taught us. You understand? And nobody does it like the I.S.U.P.K. I don't care what they say.
Don't get me started on whatever Christians call coming together. I don't even know what in the hell that is or what they're talking about with coming together. I know what real coming together is about. And there's one integral component in coming together. Who wants to tell me what it is?
Order.
Order. That's a good one, but it ain't the one. It's a good one, but it's not what makes coming together. Okay, let me start from here. Coming together is people who disagree. Just think that, like we believe in this, they believe in that. Like Jeremiah just said, we believe in all different things, but we know that blacks and Hispanics must come together, right? There is one thing that must happen for us to come together. Now, this is very difficult to understand because it's not Christian. This is what I'm going to tell you is not Christian, and it's going to hurt your feelings. Now, I'm trying to tell you already. Now, there's something that has to happen for us all to come together. What is it? California in the back.
You got to agree.
No.
If I may, sir, rank.
No.
Somebody got to give up their belief.
No. Why would somebody give up their belief? They believe in it. What will make you give up your belief? Nothing. There's something that has to happen. Well, I'll give you two more in the back, Captain.
Yeah, one of course, sir.
No. How we believe in different things. How can we be on one accord? How can any of these things happen? There's only one way that it can happen. California, Lob in the back.
We gotta separate ourselves from others.
If we agree with that, right? Some of us believe in separating. Some of us don't believe in separating. Two more, right?
Oh, Salaki, sir.
Let me get this brother right here.
We gotta go through like oppression or like a hardship.
We got to say it one more time.
We gotta go through like oppression, some sort of like hardship.
Does oppression make us come together? We've been through that for a long time, Mike. It ain't make anybody come together. Last one, Levi.
If I may, sir, we got to go to war.
With who?
With those who don't believe.
We're gonna have to fight each other.
Right. Ooh.
And that's the only way we're gonna come together. Now, of course, when I say fight each other, I mean with the Bible and scripture. I mean with the word of God. All right. Give me anyone that came together. You pick the person or the country or the organization. Just pick one. Give me somebody that's unified, right? Because that's the great black and Hispanic, unicorn, right? Unity. We all need unity. Who's unified? You pick the person.
Salakia, what so-called Alexander, the so-called great, did with the
He unified the place. How?
war.
Give me another one. Oops.
Oh.
Anyone else?
In history, you got Genghis Khan.
He did have a unified empire. How?
So that all the other Chinese who
He
didn't
killed everybody else. Go ahead.
The New Day.
What is that?
It's like a WWE where they're like three black dudes and then like.
And what do they do? And what do they do?
They got a unicorn. They unify people.
Okay, how?
Like they make people like them
How?
by they like.
Do they read books to each other?
Nah, they're like.
Do they paint pictures?
No.
What do they do in the WWE?
They wrestle.
Give them a
Ukraine is very
That's
unified,
right.
and they get unified with other countries. And World War III is going to.
Can I bring up the obvious one? America. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. How did it get like that? War. They fought the British, and then they fought the South. And killed how many? 400,000 people. Now they're one nation under God. Right. If you want all the Israelite groups to come together, then we're going to battle until a winner is declared.
Right.
And that's that.
Right.
And everyone should just believe in what they want. They should all believe in it. And then in the end, God crowns a winner.
That's what's going on. That's what you're seeing on social media and all that. It's just the Christians are crying. Y'all shouldn't fight like this. Y'all shouldn't say that.
I mean, if you don't like it, then of course you don't want unity. Because we're going to destroy the IUIC.
That's right.
Wipe them bastards out.
That's right.
Like just like they're the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Who the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ? They're gone.
That's right.
They're gone. They're not here. GMS, where are they? Well, they was big out here in California. Where they, the dog? Yeah, they used to be. They used to be. I've seen so many of them. They were so big. And then I stopped seeing them. And we're going to stop seeing them all. And then we're going to go to work on these churches.
Right.
And these Muslim mosques. And we're going to toss the Quran up and down the street.
Right.
And there's a reason for all of that. So there can be a winner declared.
That's right.
Here's the Quran. We threw it in the air. We stepped on it.
Right.
So now what? Right. So then we'll find out who God is with. Because that is the only path to unity. Now, if you can give me somebody who did it another way, I'm listening. I know we think white people are so unified. We're black, so you know what that means? And we're Hispanic. We think white people are better than us, don't we? We think that black people can't come together. But white people can come together. Well, they had the Civil War, young man.
That's right.
That's why there's no slavery. You know, there wasn't any vote to give up slavery. Did you know that? Right. No one voted and said, we hate slavery. That's not how it happened.
Nope.
Right.
Half of the place loved slavery, loved it. But the half that didn't love it won. And that's why there's no slavery. Do you understand? And that is life, and I know it's because you've been a Christian your whole life and you love Christmas and Thanksgiving and holding hands around a turkey. And so because of that, you think that there can be unity without war. But there cannot be unity without war. Why? Because everyone believes in something with their whole heart. They're not punks. They believe in that thing. They think that is God's will.
Right.
Well, so do I. So we'll all have to find out, won't we?
That's right.
We'll have to find out. And once that happens, then we will have unity. I pray you understand this. We're going to wipe out the IUIC in here tonight.
That's
it's
right.
Gonna happen.
Right.
So if you're squeamish in your stomach about talking about Israelite groups, then you're in the wrong place. Because in here, we can't be hypocrites. Right? We want to destroy Christians, Muslims, Israelite groups, the Church of Latter-day Saints, who were they? The Mormons? Them two. The Mormons, the Republicans, and the Democrats. Right. The Omega Psi Phi, Alpha Phi Alpha, give me the other ones. Sigmas, the AKAs, politicians, all of them. We're going to wipe them all out. And please believe they're trying to wipe us out. Right. General Cabal sent me an article last week of Homeland Security. Homeland Security. I think they work on terrorism. No, they might and Osama bin Laden. They did a whole study about us. An entire study. General Cabal sent it to me last week. A whole study. They're studying us and researching us and finding out about us because they want to wipe us out. But this is what I know. That our God is greater than man.
That's right.
Our God supersedes the will of man. That's right. We're going to wipe them out.
Right.
Without firing a shot.
That's right.
Without breaking a bruised reed.
Right.
That's what Christ said in the Bible. Without breaking the bruised reed. Without harming anyone now. They'll be gone and we'll be here. If they don't believe it, then we shall see.
Right.
Any other questions? Come on.
Precept, sir.
Please.
Isaiah 1:18. Come now, and let us reason together, saith the Lord. You skip down. But if you refuse and rebel, You shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it.
Where is this at?
This is Isaiah. Isaiah 1.
Yeah, and that's heavy. King David had a hell of an empire, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
How did he get it? He got it through war. When it came time to build the temple, he said, I cannot build the temple, for my hands are too stained with blood. And I will pass it to my son to build. Because he had killed too many West Indians, too many Puerto Ricans for him to build that temple up. He let Solomon build that temple, and Solomon went ahead and built that temple. Everybody understands. And we were a unified monarchy, brother. Unified. After the hard heads were contended with.
That's right.
And we'll still contend with hard heads today.
Yeah.
I pray you understand that. Anything else?
And that's all you see from them hard heads. Like Mahayaman just brought out, squeamish is the perfect word. You see blood dripping from IUIC's neck, and they get squeamish. Ooh, no, we supposed to all unify.
We're supposed to unify.
They Christians at heart, and Christianity does not know how to unify. They've been at it for a very long time. And you see our condition, right?
Right.
UPK is doing it right.
Let's power burn it. Give him a hand for what? Power burn it. Where's the video I have of the IUIC talking about saying that rich people shouldn't go out, get on the front lines? I said that to Fawa Bun. 501. 501 looks just like the brothers in California back in the day. Brothers that were in the California school back in the day look exactly like that. Well, when I see them, it strikes my brain back. What was the brother's name back then? Who was in charge of the West Coast? Ariel. Just like him and those brothers. Give him a hand. Sing it one more time, please, Dr. Watson. Just get the video, prep it up, and we'll get it on. Any questions at all? I'll answer your questions for you. No big deal. You don't have to fight it, brother. In the back.
Yes, sir. Like you were saying, I.S.U.P.K is going to go against IUIC, and they're more in the multitude than we are. But
say it one more time.
You said that U.P.K is going to go against IUIC, and
we are.
Now we look at the example of Elijah. In 1 Kings 18:22. Then Elijah unto the people, I, even I, only remain a prophet of the Lord. But Baal's prophet are 450 men.
Well, that's so many of them.
And as it drops down, it talks about how he did the example of, who the Most High was with. And he said the Lord is going to answer with fire.
Yeah.
And the prophets ended up cutting themselves up. The Baal prophets ended up cutting themselves up and everything.
Let me tell you something, Doc. I mean, I've been in the truth for a few years, right? Back in the 90s, right? Mid-90s. And I can't recall a time when everyone didn't think that the odds were too great against the I.S.U.P.K. I remember, brother, back when the Farrakhan had something called the Million Man March. Who knows about that? Oh,
that same year.
The same year when I came into the truth, Farrakhan had the Million Man March. You understand? If you go look at the video of that thing on TV, I don't know who in the hell would come against the Nation of Islam at that time.
Right.
Because, brother, they filled up the National Mall in D.C. There was not an inch of space between a man to another man. No space to where you could ride a wave. You could get up on that thing and walk across the people. That's how many people. I appreciate you all.
They couldn't even collect the money they wanted, so they told people to just pass it up.
Yeah, there was no way to get a person through the crowd to get the money. So they told everyone, put the money in the sky like this, and someone just took it and just handed it all the way to the front. That was the Million Man March. And I remember after the Million Man March, going out in the street. I'm from Philadelphia. I went out in the streets, brother, in Philadelphia after the Million Man March and heard an I.S.U.P.K camp in the middle of a ghetto saying, how do y'all feel? Was that a good day y'all had yesterday? Well, let me tell you what it was all about. And when the cat put $1 in the air like this, my heart almost dropped to my shoes. My heart went down to my shoes. He said, he grabbed $1 out of his pocket and said, this is what the march was about. And my heart dropped to my shoes because I knew he was right. I knew that was the point. The point was, there's too many people to even gather the money. Just put it in the sky and let it just float up to Farrakhan. Let it make its way up there. And after the Million Man March, Farrakhan became a Mormon. That's what happened. What happened? Did the community, did the black community change? Was there some, there was a lot of unity out there.
Right.
Did anything help or anything at all? And brother, and the UPK came against Farrakhan. At that time, they were trying to kill us all. At that time, they killed Abba Bibbins in New Jersey. And they were trying to kill us out there all the time. And we were just battling the Muslims out, battling them. I mean, oh my God. We had so many in Philadelphia. We had so many historic battles with the Nation of Islam. I'll be here all night if I told you about a few of them. I mean, battling these cats like crazy. They wanted to kill us, trying to fight us, and we would go down and speak in front of their mosque. Ooh. We would go down there, 52nd and Market, and speak right there. Right there. They would throw bottles at us. That's a lot, you remember. Throw bottles at us from the damn subway.
Drop shit off the hill.
Drop shit. And we would just battle and come out there every week.
And it was about 5 sects and 6 sects of them?
God, there's so many divisions of the Nation of Islam, all run by a bunch of Arabs out there running everything. And now everything is fine.
Right.
You understand, right?
Yes. Sir.
Now we go to Philly and speak where we want. Nobody says anything.
That's right.
Shut their mouths.
That's right.
That's how it happens. So yeah, I mean, if you ever wondered, there are far more men in the UPK than there are in IUIC.
Right.
I pray you understand. A lot more. A lot more. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Go ahead.
If you take all of them, General,
Go ahead.
and pull them together, might be a little piece of a man.
You might come up with half a man. I like our chances up.
Good.
That's right.
I like our chances. All right. Go ahead.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm getting on here. Go ahead.
All right, I see you, Warren.
Still have the question on. Oh, goddamn. Sorry.
But then I have a question as well.
Let's answer the sister's question. Come on. Revelations, right? Where was it? 6?
Yeah.
Revelation 6, the 7 seals.
Understanding of that.
Okay, let's see. Let's just break down the 7 seals to the sister, all right? Go ahead.
It's like Revelation 6. Where do you want me to start, sir?
Let's start up here. 7 one seems right.
It's the book of.
I think we're doing cross the line here, Gadar. One West Radio, right?
One West Radio, okay.
Whenever you want to start it, just tell me, all right?
We good. We good about 9:45.
You let me know, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard it as it were the noise of thunder.
So, sis, so you can understand, if I have a book, this is like a scroll in this particular precept because that's what they had at that time. But imagine a book. Damn, can we put something on the screen up here? Give me a book with seals, with 7 seals or some seals on it, right?
Yes, sir.
At that time, books were very precious. This is before the printing press. So if you had a book or you had a scroll, someone hand wrote it.
Right.
You understand, right? And if you had 3 of them, someone hand wrote each one. So sometimes they would seal them up, put like leather ties on them so that people could not open them because they were very precious and very rare, right? So that's the metaphor you have to understand to get this. Imagine a book with seals. Let me know when it's up on the screen. With 7 locks, like leather locks. Is that right?